All right, so other news at this hour now. EFF says its election manifesto will prioritise the needs of ordinary South Africans. This is ahead of the local government elections come 2026. So for more on this, let's cross back to SABC News Anchor, Thulasizwe Simelane. Thulas, good morning once again. It's quite the journey, quite the political journey that the EFF has traversed over the past 13 years. And so with the launch now, we're obviously looking at what's been said. What else can be said? What is expected on the ground? What are people hoping to hear as the manifestos launch this morning? Good morning once again.
Lizelle, good morning to you. There's 102 days before the 4th of November, and the EFF has decided that it is done waiting in the starting pen, and it's coming out of the starting pen and out of the starting gates and truly launching its campaign towards the local government elections of the 4th of November. Something will need to happen between today and the 4th of November for the EFF to live up to its mantra of the year of victory or death. So that tells you how high the stakes are for this political party. You talk about the journey they've traversed as far as electoral participation is concerned. Remember, they first participated in elections in 2014, and that was a national election in which they secured 6% of the vote. But for purposes of keeping track of local government election performance, let's talk about the 2016 local government elections, where they garnered about 8% of the vote. That was followed through in 2021 with a 10% of the vote in those elections, albeit with a bit of a dip in performance in areas of Limpopo, in the province where they've come now, signaling that this is a battlefield region, particularly the Bembe district being a battlefield for them, because they want to start their campaign and start it here. Also, Lizelle, in the 13 years of the EFF's existence, a lot has happened, isn't it? The party initially was not in government when they started out, playing the role of pure opposition. But come 2016, you start seeing them playing the role of quote-unquote kingmaker and being critical in the formation of governments, especially at local government in the metros, where those metros, there was no outright winner with a 50% plus one. But fast forward to around 2023, the EFF decides that we're not going to be bystanders anymore. We're actually going to participate actively and take up positions in the mayoral committees. For instance, you see them in Ekurhuleni and you see them in Johannesburg. But importantly, in the last few months, you see the EFF taking up leadership positions in government at a provincial level in Gauteng, with the MEC for Finance having been announced recently. So that tells you the journey that they've traversed. But how far can they go with this journey? The EFF concerned about a dip in performance, certainly if you think about 2024 national elections, and they'll be hoping that that doesn't translate to a similar performance in the local government elections. Lastly, let me mention national issues that are playing themselves out around the leader of the party. The trial that he recently went through, the guilty verdict and the sentencing that happened, issues that are coming out of Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, where the EFF is mentioned in a not so positive light in the wake of allegations of tender manipulation in cities such as Tshwane. Will those issues be a drag in the electoral performance, or will the EFF manage somehow to find buoyancy and continue to grow? So let's pick up on that conversation with SABC News senior political journalist Samgele Masego, who is on standby with one of the EFF spokespeople to pick up on that conversation and a bit more. Samgele?
Well, indeed, Thulas, as the scorching heat rises over the Makwarela Stadium in Thohoyandou, piercing hot heat in this particular part of the country, you do know that the politics of the country are about to get heated. The political tectonic plates are about to shift once again on the 4th of November, when South Africans go and cast their votes. Residents of this area of Thohoyandou have started arriving here at the stadium. As you can see, they are now seated patiently as other buses ferrying members and supporters of the EFF coming from the various regions of the party, coming from the various zones of the organization, are making their way to this 13th anniversary of the Economic Freedom Fighters, which is effectively now a party of government, not just an opposition party, but a party of government in Ekurhuleni, in Tshwane, in eThekwini, in Johannesburg, in Mogale City, and in some parts of Limpopo as well. They were contemplating, particularly in Hanga municipalities, where there was also a snap election called, by-elections called in one of the municipalities within the province where there was no outright winner, where they had also contemplated working with the ANC and other organizations. They are effectively not only an opposition, they are a party of government that has to provide services, provide water, provide sanitation, collect refuse in municipalities. And also when you're seeing the revelations coming out of commissions, the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, issues of capture of Ekurhuleni, you go to the issues pertaining to Tshwane as well, that Thulasizwe has so eloquently elaborated on, that have emanated from that particular Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, which also encompasses the huge trajectory of growth of the Economic Freedom Fighters from that 2016 press briefing where they had overlooking the Alexandra Township, saying they will be giving power and voting for the DA and usurping the African National Congress from key strategic metros within the country in 2016. 2021, a significant growth in other parts of the country, a dip in Limpopo, but effectively said, we will no longer just be supporting, we will be a party of government. They are tired of giving people their votes and giving them a lion's share of the municipalities without participating in government. Sikho, you are now a party of government.
Good morning.
How are you?
You must vote EFF so that we can be in government.
My vote is my secret. But on more important issues,
Yes.
elections are coming. You've got an election strategy. What is your election strategy, noting the dip that you faced in the last provincial and national election? You're going into the local government elections. You are a party of government in various municipalities in Gauteng, in the Eastern Cape, in Port Elizabeth, Epai, Gcilishe. Then you go to eThekwini. You've got human settlements, chairperson of infrastructure within that municipality of eThekwini. What is your key game plan going to these elections, noting that you've suffered tremendously from the MK party?
I don't think we've suffered, Samgele, and we've addressed this. But also, I don't think it's something that we can reveal. The strategy is something that we cannot reveal to our opponents or people we're going to, be playing against. But we do have a strategy. It's victory or death for us. So we take these elections very seriously because our people have been very accustomed, in looking for answers in wrong places. So this is a very important elections for us. So we're not playing games. It's victory or death.
Can you quantify your mantra, victory or death? Give it context and meaning to an ordinary layman sitting in Zingizingi, sitting in Malamlela, in Vuani, who wants to know victory or death. What does this moment signal for the EFF?
I think it is something that we've already done as the EFF. We're not mediocre. So everything that we're doing, we give ourselves to it. And I think that's where, a victory is certain for us or death it is. So if we die, which is not going to happen, it would have been as a result of us giving everything to our people to say, vote for the EFF, these are the things we will do for us. President of the EFF will be unveiling the manifesto of the EFF here today. Because our people are living in streets that are infested with potholes. They open taps and there's the taps are dry and the services are not coming to them. The refuse is not collected, and we're saying to them they must give us a chance to ensure that we build municipalities as a base for economic freedom that we want to provide them.
But that argument, Sikho, for me, it does not hold water because in Johannesburg, you are a party of government. I stay in Johannesburg. My refuse sometimes is not collected on a Tuesday when it's meant to be collected. It's collected on a Thursday. You go to areas such as Roodepoort, you go to areas such as Midrand, some of the biggest parts of Johannesburg, some of the biggest parts of regions, refuse is not collected in those areas, particularly if you go to Rudaport, if you go to Randburg, and yet you are in government. Your provincial secretary, Mushenkomo, is an MMC in Johannesburg as MMC of Community Safety, who does sit in the top echelons of that municipality. You go to Ekurhuleni, well, you are out now. You go to Tshwane, you've got Obakeng, you've got Mashabela, Ms. Mashabela as MMCs. So you are a part of government, and there are these service delivery challenges.
Yeah, but look at the deployments of the EFF, the Obakeng. Look at how clean Tshwane is, for instance. That's something that you can't dispute. And look at what the EFF MMC of health has done in Johannesburg, opening 24-hour, clinics, something that has not been done. So we've got the deployees of the EFF making sure that they do the commitments of the EFF. They do the commitments that the EFF said they would do if you put them in government. So if you want to compare Mushekoma into anything, you need to take him. He's an MMC for public safety. What is JMPD doing in Johannesburg? You see them in the streets and making sure that always making sure that the city is safe.
I've got a research paper as we close. I'm not going to show it to you, but I've got a research paper on public opinions here, which was done on the 11th of July. And it puts the issue of migration at the top of its agenda, which is a national issue. Mm-hmm. And you, as the EFF, have been on opposite ends on this issue of migration, particularly with NGOs or organizations such as March on March. Do you anticipate that your stance on migration will hurt you at the polls, noting that it's one of the key issues that are going into the 4th of November, one of the key national issues going into this election?
So this question came in 2019, this question came in every elections that we've had. And we've always been clear that we are not going to be bullied into hating African people. So if you that's when we even said that if you think that we are putting Africans as we should, because it's not like we don't love South Africans. You can vote a party that you think that is not, is if you are saying that we are people who are not prioritizing South Africans because we love all Africans, then you can vote a party that you think is deserving of your vote. Us will not be bullied into hating African people.
Thank you very much, Sixo. Indeed, it's going to be a rather interesting election on those key national issues: water, migration, and service delivery.
How is migration having anything to do with municipal elections?
Well, if you look at South Africans, you can see that the migration issue is a topical issue globally, not just in South Africa. But we'll have this discussion, you and I. That's Sixo, spokesperson of the EFF for the elections. The numbers are trickling in. EFF members will be listening, and South Africans will be listening to the president of the Economic Emancipation Movement, Julius Malema, at 1 o'clock sharp, when he delivers the trajectory of the EFF since its formation, going to 2016, going to be a party of government, going to 2021, and ultimately now going to the 4th of November as we link to pay our bills.